guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Val and I do scary videos. Today I'm going to be reading some stories of some people that experienced creepy things as kids that they still aren't able to explain. And I know we have all had some of those, so I thought it'd be pretty fun to see what spooky things other people have experienced. So let's get started. I'm going to be putting on my headphones because I get distracted very easily, so that's why I have these on, okay? Okay, the title to the first story is Door to Attic is Always Open. Child Sees a Face Staring Back. There was a small door that led to the attic space in my bedroom, and the person was like 11 or 13 years old at the time. And it became a habit that I would shut the door as I walked into my bedroom a couple times a week. I didn't think anything of it. I just assumed that my mom didn't close it all the way when she left. After a while, I made a mistake of joking with her when she made a comment about me not picking up after myself. I said something like, "Every night I have to close the attic door behind you. How about you shut it all the way when you're done?" Then she informed me that she hasn't been in the attic for months. Asked my brother? Nope. Asked my father? Nope. So then I started to pay really close attention, making sure it was closed in the morning, checking it after school, checking it after dinner. Then I would head up to bed and open. After a couple months of wondering, studying, experimenting, I thought that I'd see what happens if I don't shut it. I opened the door before school and I checked it. After school, it was still open. I checked it after dinner, still open. Before bed, still open. Now I'm laying in bed, mind going crazy with the open door across the room. So I decide to check it out. So I roll over and focus on the black space in the attic to see a face staring back at me. I bolt downstairs, wake up my parents, get ridiculed by my brother, switch bedrooms with my brother, and move into a new house about 6 months later due to expanding household. The new physics teacher and his wife bought our house. I could have forgotten all about that event and chalked it up to me having an overreactive mind. But then, my senior year, I discovered how awesome our physics teacher was. Physics became my favorite class, and he was by far my favorite teacher. End of senior year, my friend and I took our VHS camcorder around town, doing mostly silly things. But then I took it to my old house to see what they've done with the place. We got a very fun tour. I got to tell stories all about the projects my dad did that were still part of the house. Then the wife led us upstairs to show us the sewing room. I asked jokingly, "Notice anything strange in this room?" And her face goes blank. On camera, she asked what I mean, and I tried to shrug it off, but end up saying something about the attic door. She confirmed that every time she comes up to sew, the attic door is open. She then tells us that the second day of being in the house, their dog, a German Shepherd, had gone into the room but would not go back downstairs. He started barking and could not be consoled, and then jumped through the window, landing on the tin roof over the porch and then running off. Oh my God! The dog did not come back until the next day and has not stepped foot into the hallway that leads upstairs since. I had the initial thought that I could show my parents and my brother the story I had on film, but I decided to just let it be. Oh my God. Dogs always know when something's going on. This next story says, family suspects they live with a shadowy figure. I'm pretty sure I lived in a haunted house for a while. Strange things. For one, I always felt like I was being watched in my room. And if I had the door open to the hallway, I would swear I'd see someone walk by out of the corner of my eye. We had 2 cats, and sometimes they'd be in the room sleeping, and then all of a sudden they would sit up and stare at the door. And nothing I did could move them for a long time. This happened often. One day in my bathroom, the shelf that had my sister's beauty stuff randomly lost hold of all the items. The thing was, the shelf wasn't loose or hanging. All the stuff had to bounce out of a 2-inch high lip in the sink. One time in the middle of the night, my sister's 100-year-old dresser, which she had got a gift from my grandma, just fell over. This thing weighed a ton, and it was built like a tank. My sister said that she heard the sound of someone pushing. My mom and sister used to yell at me for sneaking around the house, only I wasn't home or in the room. They said they saw a man in the shadows that was about my height. One day, we ran into the old owner, and my mom casually asked the lady if she had ever experienced anything in the house. The lady started crying and said that no one believed her, but yes, she experienced a lot of stuff. I moved out around that time. I do not miss that place. Okay, you know what? Lately, I swear I've been seeing like shadows across like the corner of my eye, like something like walking by. Oh my god, I just scared myself with my own hair. I've been seeing like shadows, not like lately, I think within the past couple weeks, like maybe like a few times in the past couple weeks, but I'll see like something like walk by and there's literally nobody there. Like literally nobody will be home. So I can completely see where like it creeps you out when you see stuff like that. And I hate when people dismiss it as if like, oh, it's a coincidence. It happens all the time. Like, I hate when people do that. Okay, the title for this one's a little bit funny. Mannequins come to life to make a midnight snack. I posted this a long time ago, but when I was younger, my mom was dating a guy who we will call JB. And after a few months, he invited my mom, me, and my brother to go with him and his son, about my age, out to his lake house for the weekend. It was right on Lake Michigan, but up in a more secluded area, which was pretty awesome. Well, we got up there and I already felt creeped out. It was a smaller 2, maybe 3 if you count the really big attic story house that had a living room, dining room, kitchen on the first floor, and had 2 bedrooms on the second floor. His grandfather had helped to build the place with his dad, and then he lived there for most of his life working as a tailor in the nearby town. We went up to the attic to get some beach toys because that's where JB kept all of that stuff, so he didn't have to haul it every time he went out there. Well, when we went up to the attic, I noticed in the corner, covered in some dust and cobwebs, about 8 mannequins, some just upper torsos and some full bodies. Not out of the ordinary, considering a tailor had lived there. Those mannequins would have creeped me the heck out. I don't know how he even slept there. JB's son and I slept in the living room on the couch since there was no more beds, and near midnight, I heard one of the stairs squeak a few times, figuring it was my mom coming to check to make sure we were asleep. I told JB's son to be quiet, quickly turn the TV off, and hide under the covers. After not hearing any noise for a few minutes, I looked out from under the covers and saw 3 of the mannequins moving around in the kitchen. Their body parts weren't moving, but they were sliding around the kitchen. I swore I was dreaming, but I was so terribly frightened I hid back under the covers with a small yelp and then heard the dragging on the floor coming closer. So I peeked out, seeing one of them just a few feet from the couch. Oh. I hid back under the covers and shut my eyes tight, hoping it would go away. The next morning I got up and I tried not to think about it, really, really hoping it was just a bad dream. But when we went back upstairs to the attic to put the beach stuff back, the mannequins were in different spots and weren't covered in cobwebs anymore. Don't believe me if you don't want to, but it happened, and I've been scared shitless of mannequins ever since. I'm sorry, but I believe them. Because I have a story of like when I was like 7 years old, I like half awoke to like the Barbies in my bag jumping, and I swear to God it happened. I don't care if anybody thinks it's a lie. I don't care if they think I was dreaming, so I completely believe him. This other story says, family keeps hearing someone using the computer. In my childhood home, I would often hear touch typing from the computer downstairs early in the mornings. I didn't think much of it at first. My parents worked from home, and it wouldn't be uncommon to wake up in the morning to hear Mom says mom, so it might be from like, you know, England or something, or I don't know where they use mom at. Typing away at the computer. One day I got up and I called to mom, assuming she was down there working, as I could hear her typing. No answer. No one was down there at all. I was sure I heard typing. This began happening regularly. I figured I was so used to hearing typing from downstairs that I was hearing things that weren't there, so I didn't mention anything to anyone, figuring I was going a bit crazy. This happened on and off over a period of 6 months. The sound of fast typing and fast, furious clicking of the mouse as if someone was frustrated. One morning, I was eating my breakfast when I heard Mom at the top of the stairs call out to me, "You're not down there on the computer already." I froze and I ran out to her. I was amazed she had heard it too. She was convinced she could hear typing, yet no one was down there. I told her about all the times I'd been hearing it, and then my sister opened up about hearing it regularly too. Why does that word regularly sound so weird right now? When no one was down there. I wasn't crazy after all. I set out to try to catch whatever was causing it and to try to discover a rational explanation for it. I'd sprint out of my bedroom to the top of the stairs where I was able to look down into the room to see if anyone was at the computer. No such luck. Every time I got there, it stopped. I think it went on for a couple of years and we learned to kind of just live with it as if it wasn't every day. I was down there once when the ceiling light globe in the center of the room began flashing very fast, strobe-like. It then exploded and the glass went shattering across the room. I was lucky I ran out of the room when it started happening because I was scared. The whole mysterious typing, you know. If I hadn't ran, I would have been hit with bits of light bulb. Around the same time, I was on the computer at home by myself when something happened that resulted in me never being alone in that room again. I felt and heard this really sharp intake of breath directly behind me, my right shoulder near my ear. I've never ran so fast in my life and was hesitant going into that room ever again. Prior to that, the whole typing thing had been something weird and a bit spooky, not scary. It still makes my heart race when I think about it. I have never really encountered anything like that before or since all those events. I don't particularly believe in ghosts either, but I'm open to possibilities of something which scientists don't have proper explanation for yet. Yeah, that was a ghost, dude. That ghost was like trying to find, maybe he was trying to look up his death on the internet or something. That's what I would do if like I was a ghost. Like if I pass away, knock on wood, and I want to find out what happened to me or what's going on or whatever, I would try to use somebody's computer. So if you hear tapping, it's probably me. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and stop right here because it is becoming a little long, but hopefully you like these type of stories, and I'll see you next time. Bye!